Hi friends, in previous tutorial we talked about Python strings. In this tutorial we will understand a very important Python data structure, Python list. In Python, list is implemented to store the various types of data. It is like an array. Python contains many modules or objects like dictionary, tuple, sets, etc. that are also capable to store the data, but the most common and reliable type is list. List is a collection of values or items of different types. The items in the list are separated with a comma and are enclosed within square brackets. For example, let us initialize a list with information of an employee working in any organization, say Google. This is how we can initialize and declare such a list. Say name of employee is Dr. Bejoy Watson. He is VP of the company, lives in USA, some number as his company ID, and in the end company name, that is Google. Here variable info list is a list object and values like name of employee Dr. Bejoy Watson, position, vice president, organization Google, etc. are called elements of the list. A list in Python can have objects of different data types. Here you can see we have two types of elements, string and integer. But you can have any type of element depending upon the requirement. We can also put a list as well as an element of another list. Like Python strings, elements of a list can be accessed using their index. Let's write index of elements of this list. If you remember, we have already done this exercise in Python strings as well. You can index elements of a list from either direction. So we can say accessing list elements in Python is similar to Python strings. Let's extract first element of the list from forward direction. But index of employee name Dr. Bejoy Watson is -5 from backward direction. So you can access first element of this list from backward direction like this. Gives us same result. You can also separate out multiple elements in sequence using colon inside square brackets. Say, if you want to extract elements from vice president to company ID, you should check index of start element. Here start element is VP, whose index is 1, and required last element is company ID, whose index is 3. But as we have seen in case of Python strings, while extracting a sequence from a list, index of last element in square brackets should be one more than the position of that element in original list index. So we will use index 4 here in place of 3. We can write it like this, which gives us the required list sequence. You can see accessing Python elements is similar to Python strings, but here is the notable difference. Python strings are immutable. That is, value of sliced elements of a string cannot be changed once the string is initialized. In such a situation, you will have to delete the previous string and reinitialize a new string again with the updated value. But Python lists are mutable. You can change elements of a list anytime dynamically. Let's try to update the value of location in the list from USA to India. Now, if I see the list again, here you can see list element is updated. So we can say we can update Python lists anytime, unlike Python strings. There are few inbuilt Python methods which we frequently use while dealing with lists. Let's understand some of them. If you want to repeat all the elements of a list, you can use multiplication operation. You can change number of repetitions by changing this number. Now let's understand list concatenation. Say we have two lists, one that we have already initialized, and let me initialize another list. If we want to join these two lists one after other, we can perform it using concatenation operation like this. This operation is called list concatenation. If you want to check availability of an element in a list, you can use membership operator, which we have already discussed. Let's say if I check string mark is in list 2 or not, which gives true, that is correct. We can also access or iterate elements of a list using Python loops like this. If you want to check number of elements in a list, then you can use len function. Here the result is 5, which is also the length of the list. If you want to add or append any element at the end of a string, say you want to add one more detail, age 35 in this second list, you can use append method like this. If I see the content of this list, you can see the element is appended. You will use this syntax most frequently while dealing with Python lists. If you want to convert any sequence into list, you can use list function. Suppose we have this sequence, and now if I check its data type, which is a tuple, not a list. Do not worry about this data type tuple as of now. We will discuss later in detail this data type. But if you want to convert this sequence into a list, you can use list method. If now we check the content in the variable list underscore sequence and its type, so here you can say data type of the sequence has changed to list with no change in the content. Let's discuss some more list functions. You can find maximum and minimum value in a list using max method and min method. If I directly check maximum and minimum value in this sequence, five and 1, which are as expected. If you want to delete any element or any value from a list, just use remove function. Say if I want to remove value 5 from this list, which is removed. But if you want to delete all elements from a list, you can simply clear the list using clear function. Now let's check its content. Nothing. This is how you can delete all elements of a list. Well friends, this is all about basics of Python lists. Let's stop this tutorial here. In the next tutorial, we will dive deep into Python lists. There are some more elegant ways to create and use Python lists. We will discuss them in detail in next lecture. Thanks for watching the tutorial. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know down in the comment section. If you have not subscribed our channel, please do it right now so that you can get a notification at the earliest about our new tutorial.